Boses ng simbahan, kilos ng bayan, barangay, simbayanan,
Yes, hero.
Yes.
Now with me.
Mariah Carey from the movie Casper. Tama ba? Casper, oo.
And ang
Theme song
sinasabi
ng
nito,
Casper.
Father, na pwede ka rin maging isang
Hero. Pwede kang maging bayani. Pero sa context natin, pwede kang maging banal.
at pwede ka maging santo.
Maging santo. Pwede kang maging mabuting tao. Dahil nga, di ba, sa
We can all
kalooban mo.
be saints.
We can all
And
be
that
saints.
is our goal, is to be with God. And when
To be
you are
holy.
with God, you cannot be holy and be with God, no?
Yes.
So, pag-uusapan po natin, mag-shift po kami. We will shift from English to Filipino because our guest today is from France.
Yeah. Parlez-vous français?
Yes. Je ne parle pas français.
Parlez-vous français?
Father. How do you say, Father Thomas de Gabory?
Yes, Thomas de Gabory. Father Thomas de Gabory, yes.
Good morning.
Good
Bonjour.
morning. Magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga. Bonjour, Father.
So, sa mga kapanalig na naririyan, so, ang dahilan kung bakit tayo merong
Opo.
bisita
Yes.
direct from France ay dahil nga kay Darwin. So, kung
Si
narinig
Darwin
ninyo,
Ramos.
Darwin Ramos, narinig
Yes.
nyo na meron tayong cause for beatification and canonization Canonization of
Yes.
Darwin Ramos.
Right now, he is a servant of God.
Yes.
Right now.
Okay. This is very interesting, Father. You are from France. You are a French Dominican priest. You studied your doctorate in the University of Santo Tomas.
Yes.
And you became the postulator. How did that happen?
Yes, Darwin Ramos was a Filipino child and he died in 2012, so
Recently,
7 years ago. But the reputation of holiness of Darwin Ramos began in France, not in the Philippines, but in France, because the executive director of the Tulain and Kabataan Foundation, the Foundation for Street Children, who was welcomed Darwin Ramos, the director, Father Mathieu Daucher.
Yes, Father Matthew Daucher,
yes.
we know him.
He was a companion of Darwin Ramos during the 6 years in the foundation. So Father Mathieu Daucher, after the death of Darwin, wrote a biography, and it was published in France. That's why Catholic people in France knew very well the story of Darwin. So the reputation of holiness began in France. And after that, an association was created. The name is Darwin Ramos Association. And it's the petitioner for the cause for beatification and canonization of Darwin. So the association, Darwin Ramos Association, is French. But the story of Darwin is for Filipino people first.
Yes.
It's a Filipino cause. It's not a French cause. It's a Filipino cause. It's very, very important. The postulator, I am the postulator, is French. But the vice postulator is Filipino. The Father Robert Young. He works in the Tribunal of Maynila, Ecclesiastical Tribunal. And all the tribunal, of course, is Filipino. So Filipino people, and especially Filipino faithful, have to get the story of Darwin for them. It's a Filipino story, it's a Filipino child, it's a Filipino cause. So it's very, very important to keep the cause for you, for yourself, for your country, and for your church in the Philippines.
Sa mga kapanalig, ang ibig sabihin po ng postulator, siya po yung in charge o siya yung in-appoint na para sa beatification, yung mga dapat na i-submit, dapat na i-observe o i-report na sa simbahan, siya yung mga ngalaga dito. Kaya yung tinatawag na postulator.
So your role, Father, is to gather information. What is it?
The role of the postulator is very complicated, and I have a large part of the work, of the job.
Congratulations, Father.
I am postulator for already 2 years, and
Okay.
I work for 2 years already every time. It's like a 7-Eleven. It's open every time, okay? So the Postulator,
No break.
no break. But it's a good job because I work for the holiness. I work for the for a very beautiful story and a very beautiful cause. So it's a great job for me, of course. So the first job of the Postulator is to show to the bishop, Most Reverend Honesto Ongtioko, DD, Bishop of Cubao, I had to show him in the first time the reputation of holiness of Darwin. It means the companions of Darwin, especially in the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation, the true family of Darwin, of course. The true family of Darwin was the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation. And I had to show to the bishop the reputation of holiness, so I got a lot of testimonies of the children of the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation, the former companions of Darwin. And I got a lot of informations of testimonies of the staffs of the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation. Of course, all the people who worked in the foundation with Darwin Ramos. And they told me, yes, when he was still alive, he was a special child. It means, yes, he had a handicap, of course, a physical handicap because he was sick. I mean, he got Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a very strong muscle disease, okay? So he was a special child because of his illness, but also because of his holiness. It means the Darwin was an ordinary boy like you and I, but in his heart, his spiritual life was very impressive. It means he was very special in his heart, and everybody can testify, can say, yes, he was special for God and also for ourselves. Okay, so when he was still alive, he was already special in his spiritual life, with the connection with God. But after his death, this special life continued. Even he was already dead. Okay, do you get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reputation of holiness is that all the people before death and after death can testify Darwin was special. Special with God and special with others, with neighbors. So when you see that, you have to collect all the documents, all the testimonies to prove to the bishop Darwin has a reputation of holiness. It's the first job.
Do they talk about him still?
Of course, a lot of. And I can tell you a lot of people now can speak about Darwin and continue to speak of Darwin in France, but also now in the Philippines. I have a lot of testimonies. For example, a lot of people go to the tomb of Darwin in Pasay City Cemetery. They want to pray, they want to touch the stone, the tombstone of Darwin. They want to pray because already a lot of people got favors or graces through the intercession of Darwin. So I have to prove the reputation of holiness, but now I have to prove the reputation of science. It means when you pray through the intercession of Darwin, you get favors from God Himself or graces. You can be healed from a disease. You can be relax after to have been depressed. Okay, you can have a lot of healings or curings.
Yes.
Okay, do you get my
Yes.
English? It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, very
Okay,
good, Father.
I continue. So it's the reputation of science, and it means I have to prove to the bishop the prayer through the intercession of Darwin is successful, and I believe it's true today in France and in the Philippines, and I think all over the world.
Father, do you have plans of removing the body from Pasay Cemetery to?
Oh, it's you're right, Father. Huh? It's the name is exhumation.
Exhumation, yes.
We will do that in the future, but it's not an emergency.
Mhm.
And of course, I'd like Darwin Ramos will become venerable and blessed and saint very soon. But
Yeah.
I am not stupid, and I know
It will take
the
time.
Catholic Church every time takes his time.
Yes.
And
Except for Mother Teresa of Calcutta.
yes, but
Except
Darwin
for
is not Mother
Yes,
Teresa. Darwin
but
is not
still.
John Paul II.
Again, but
So
still.
there is no special work for Darwin. I mean, there is no special way for the cause.
You go to
Has
the
to go
process.
through the-
I follow the process.
Yeah.
The Bishop Ongtioko follows the process. The Episcopal Delegate, Father June Arvibello, follows the process. So we take time because we want to do well. Because the story of Darwin is really very, very beautiful and very inspiring. But we have to do the right process, and we have to follow the law of the church. So maybe, I hope, maybe in few years, Darwin will become venerable. Okay, today is servant of God, lingkod ng Diyos in
Yes,
Tagalog,
lingkod ng
but in
Diyos.
English, servant of God. It means servant of God. It means the process, the cause for beatification is already open.
Ayun.
But it's already for 1 week.
He's only been
Officially-
officially declared a servant of
the journalist of all the newspaper declared Darwin Ramos servant of God last June. But in reality, Darwin is servant of God only for 1 week. Because you become servant of God when the process of canonization is open. And the cause for Darwin is only open for 1 week, August 28, 2019. Okay? And he will become venerable in few years, I hope, if I can prove the reputation of holiness, if I can prove the reputation of science, and if the tribunal can hear all the witnesses. For the moment, around 60 people. Some of them are in the Philippines, but you have also some witnesses in France, because the reputation of holiness of Darwin began in France. Okay?
So people who read the biography
Yes.
in France
Yes, they knew
had-
the
Can
story of
testify.
Darwin.
can have sort
But
of
to reply to your
experiences.
question about exhumation, the exhumation is just before the title venerable. So it's at the end of the process
of sir.
now in the Diocese of Cubao. Okay, we celebrated the opening celebration last week. We will celebrate the closing celebration in few years before the title venerable, before to send the file to Rome, to the Congregation for the Causes of Saints in the Vatican. Okay, so the exhumation is scheduled just before to send the file to Rome. Okay, so it's not an emergency. For the moment, we have a lot of work before to do that.
No, because I'm just wondering, because the Pasay Cemetery will be flooded soon.
Yes, yes, it's right. But
Babahain yun.
we take care of the tomb of Darwin, and some benefactors, for example, are going to give a new tombstone because the former was wrong. The year of the birth of
was
Darwin
wrong.
is wrong. It's 1995, but in truth, it's 1994. So some benefactors wanted to give
Change
a
the-
new tombstone. So, for example, we take care of the tomb of Darwin with that.
And he died in September.
September
September.
23, 2012, 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
But normally, well, in recent history, of course, because of like Pope John Paul II, he was so loved, a Pope, no? So Pope Emeritus Benedict, when he was the Pope, he also fast-tracked the canonization of Pope John Paul II. And in the same manner, when Pope John Paul II was still alive, he also the procedure for Mother Teresa to become saint was also quick. So, but if you look at it, 7 years is also not that long for us, an ordinary
Boy.
person.
Normally, for a normal process, normally you open the cause 5 years
After 5
after
years,
death.
yes.
But before 30 years after death.
Yeah.
Okay, between 5 and 30. So for Darwin, it's normal. It's normal. It's not so fast.
Not so fast,
No.
but not so slow either.
So that's step one. Huh?
It's the step one. The step one is to open the cause. Oh, okay, it's already done for 1 week. And the second step is the phase, the diocesan phase in the Diocese of Cubao. And the second phase will be the Roman phase in the Vatican, in the Congregation for the Causes of Saints. And at the end of this phase, I hope Darwin will be elevated at the title Venerable. And after that, we will need a miracle. And after the miracle, I hope he will be elevated at the title Blessed.
Blessed.
Okay? And one miracle more, canonization, he will become a saint. So I'm not sure. I can't promise that because I am the postulator. I mean, postulator means I am the advocate of Darwin. So I believe me as postulator. Darwin is a saint. He is already in the heaven. But I cannot say that to the bishop or to the Catholic Church. I have to prove it. So we have a lot of works before to prove the reputation of holiness, the reputation of signs, before to hear all witnesses, to compile the file and to send it to the Vatican, and after the Vatican will work on the file, etc., etc. So we have a lot of work before the title Venerable, Blessed, and Saint. Okay, and I cannot assure you Darwin will become a saint. I hope, I believe. But I'm not sure. I'm not the Catholic Church.
Yes.
I'm not the prefect of the congregation in Rome. I'm not the Pope. So I don't decide myself. Okay? So I have to work a lot for the cause for Darwin Ramos, but I cannot promise to the Filipino people Darwin will become a saint. I hope, but we have to pray for that. That's why I am here today.
Yes.
My message is, if you are Filipino, if you are Catholic, if you believe in holiness, please pray for the beatification and for the canonization of Darwin Ramos. It's not the job of French people.
Yeah.
It's your servant of God.
Yes.
It's Darwin Ramos is for your Catholic Church in the Philippines. I am nothing in this file. I am just a very small priest in France. But get the story of Darwin for yourself. Please pray every day for Darwin Ramos, for his canonization, for his beatification. It's your job. I have a dream, and my dream is to see in all the parishes in the Philippines some people, some faithful, praying for the beatification of Darwin Ramos, to promote the story of Darwin Ramos, the message of holiness of Darwin Ramos. Because I'm sure, I assure you, Darwin is an example of holiness for us today. Because he was young, because he was sick, because he was poor. And he has a message of joy for every people in the Philippines. So I hope the Filipino people and the Filipino church can get the life of Darwin Ramos for himself. Okay, for example, we have a page, Facebook page. The name is Servant of God Darwin Ramos, that cause for canonization. We have only 4,000 followers, only 4,000, but it's not enough. In the Philippines, if you have 40,000, it's okay, but 4,000, it means the story of Darwin, for the moment, does not interest the Filipino people. It's not good. You have to get the story for yourself. And I want, before the end of the year, 40,000 followers. 40,000, because we are in the Philippines. Philippines, 100 million people.
Yes.
85% Catholics. My God, I want 80 million followers for Darwin Ramos. Of
Why
course,
not?
of course.
Yes.
And we have to pray together. Please. I want
Okay.
the life of Darwin becomes the life of each Filipino people. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we will continue with this.
You'll have a
okay?
break, Father.
Coffee break for
Coffee break for Father.
But not 3 in 1.
Salamat po. Maraming salamat po.
Barako,
Sa
kape.
mga kapanalig, yan po yung naririnig ninyo ang aming pampanawin si Father Thomas, no? Father Thomas de Gabory, postulator for the cause of Darwin Ramos.
Okay, sandali po. Magpabalik po tayo, mga kapanalig.
Boses ng simbahan, kilos ng bayan, barangay, simbayanan, simbayanan. Ang 17th Gawad Canlaw Best AM Station sa Mega Manila. Ito ang Veritas 846 kapanalig sa ika-50 taon ng pagpapahayag ng mabuting balita. Member, Catholic Media Network, and kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Mga kapanalig, Philippine Standard Time ay, Father?
9:34 na ng umaga.
Pilgrimages to the Holy Land, or Marian shrines, or maybe tours through Russia, Romania, Poland, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Turkey, Jordan, Egypt, Israel, or others? Experience wellness of your body and mind as you take part in the pilgrimages offered and customized by Journeys of Faith Incorporated, offering you tours and pilgrimages all around the globe. For more details, please call 920-0144 or 929-0155 or connect with them through join@journeys.com.ph. Journeys of Faith Incorporated, where every trip is a leap.
Numero unong kape, mixed and herbal coffee.
Pagod na pagod, pag ako'y naka-mixed in coffee, talagang grabe ang energy. Talagang makakatulog ka na ng mahigpit.
Ating kape, mixed and herbal coffee.
Everyday po yung mixed in coffee. Lalong na-improve po yung ng bowel movement ko.
Ang ating kape, mixed and herbal coffee. Ang ating kape, mixed and herbal coffee.
Ang mixed and herbal coffee mabibili sa Mercury Drug, The Generic Pharmacy, Parmasya ni Doc, Ross Pharmacy at Doc Alternativo Center.
Problema ka ba sa high blood, diabetes? Madali ka bang mapagod? Mahirap makatulog? Isa lang ang solusyon dyan. The original Triple H Ashitaba Herbal Capsule.
Hi, ako si Erwin of Davao. Meron akong diabetes 8 years na. Pero mula noon, nang uminom ako ng Triple H Ashitaba, nag-stabilize ang blood sugar at gumaan ang pakiramdam ko. Triple H Ashitaba na.
Triple H Ashitaba Herbal Capsule is the most outstanding organic and natural herbal supplement by the National Customer Choice Award. Beef and approved and halal certified. Mabibili sa Mercury Drug, Southstar, Generica, Watsons at sa lahat ng suki butika nationwide. Mahalagang paalala, ang Triple H Ashitaba ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa namang uri na sakit.
Experience our strong Catholic faith in preparation for the 500 years of Christianity in the Philippines in the year 2021. Come and visit the Marian Healing Exhibit at the Shangri-La Plaza, Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City, featuring the different images of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the relics and memorabilia of Saint Padre Pio. The Marian Healing Exhibit runs from August 15 to September 15, 2019. See you there!
Boses ng simbahan, kilos ng bayan, barangay, simbayanan, simbayanan.
Alright, nagbabalik po tayo. 9:37 na po ngayong umaga at gusto rin natin makilala si Darwin Ramos.
Sino ba si Darwin Ramos?
So narinig nyo na po yung proseso, no? Ngayon po, i-sentro natin sa naging buhay po niya. Okay, so he was born 1994, he died 2012. Paano siya nakilala? How did we get to know Darwin Ramos, kay Father Toma.
How did
How was Darwin when he was alive?
okay, I understand your question. So I think there are two lives in the life of Darwin. The first one was in the biological family. The second one, the second phase, was in the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation. I can say the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation was the true family of Darwin. Okay, so the first phase of Darwin was in his biological life. He was very poor. It was a very poor family, with a father, mother, and 9 children. For Filipino people, it's normal. But for me, for a Frenchman, it's huge.
Very big,
9 children, oh my God. So the family was very poor, and Darwin was a waste picker, a scavenger on the streets of Maynila to help his family to get food, okay? But Darwin got a disease when he was around 6 years old, and he got a muscular disease. The name is Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's a very strong disease, and Darwin was not able to stand up or to walk, okay? So the father wanted to take an advantage of the disease of Darwin. So the father fetched Darwin every morning to the Veritas station LRT, and Darwin became a beggar. He was a beggar on the stairs of Veritas station for many years, until 2006. So it was the first step, the first phase of the Darwin's life. I mean, it was the normal life of a street child, okay? But the second phase was very awesome. When he was fetched to the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation, he discovered the Catholic faith, with, especially with the director, Father Mathieu Daucher. Father Mathieu Daucher is a priest, French priest, diocesan from the Diocese of Maynila. He is in Etsa Shrine, Ortigas, but he's the director of the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation. And the president, the chairman of the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation is Cardinal Tagle, Cardinal of Maynila, okay? So, the second life of Darwin began when he was fetched in the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation. And he was baptized in 2006, December. And just 1 year after, he received the Holy Communion and the confirmation by the hands of Bishop Pabilio, the auxiliary bishop of Maynila.
Yes.
So, Darwin was awesome, incredible in his disease. And everybody around him, the neighbors, the staffs, the children of the Tuline and Kabataan Foundation, were very inspired by the life of Darwin, especially by the way he lived with his disease. Okay, he was a master of joy. A master of joy means even the disease, even the suffering, Darwin found the joy, especially the joy of God himself. So that's why I can say he was a master of joy for everybody around him. You know, I say Darwin found the joy, even the disease, but it's not true. The truth is Darwin found the joy through the disease. Through his illness, he found the joy of Christ, especially the suffering Christ. So Darwin had a very incredible spiritual life. He was very attached to the prayer every day, daily. And he was really united with the suffering Christ, with the Christ on the cross. He was very, he lived a very intimate union with the passion of Christ. That's why he was able to find the joy, even the disease, or through the disease, through the cross of his suffering. Do you get it? It's very incredible because he was very young. And he's a master of joy. He's an example for us today. He's an example for all the sick in the Philippines, for all the poor children in the Philippines. Can you imagine? The holiness comes from the streets of Manila, not from the rich people of Manila, but from the very poor, the poorest of the poor on the streets of Manila. It's incredible. The holiness can come from the poverty, from the diseases, the sickness, from the young, the youth. Can you imagine for the year of the youth this year?
Yes.
We can show to the young people in the Philippines the holiness is possible. Even you are a teenager, even you are poor, even you are sick, you can find the joy of Christ. Even you live some trials, even your trials you can find joy, but you have to accept the union with the suffering Christ, the identification with the suffering Christ. In French we say, I think the name in English is the same, the Christo configuration or the Christo conformation. I don't know if you get it, but it's a theological word. Okay. For example, Darwin during his life never spoke of his illness, but always he spoke of his mission. For Darwin, his disease was a mission. But it's very deep. I mean, in his mind, it was very theological. You know, I studied theology in UST during 3 years, but never I heard a word like this. Your disease is a mission. Your illness is a mission. It's very, very beautiful to say that. And Darwin was a very simple teenager, a simple boy, very ordinary, but he understood very well the mission of his life, even the poverty, even the disease, even the young age.
I'm looking at his picture, no? There's a picture of him here. Later on, we're going to recite the prayer, no? May panalangin po para sa tagapaglingkod ng Diyos na si Darwin Ramos. Dadasalin po natin ito. We will pray this together later on. So, Father, he was able to speak, Father Thomas. He could still speak.
Of course. He was able to speak, but he was very simple. I met him only 1 month before death.
You actually
only 1 month.
met him?
Yes, in August 2012. But I met him like an ordinary boy, like you and I.
Just
so
chatting.
he was not a saint for me because I met him only for few minutes. But for every people around him, especially the staffs who worked for him in the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation, or for the children of the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation, yes, Darwin was already an example of virtue. Because it's the purpose of my job as postulator to prove the heroical virtues of Darwin Ramos. So I have a lot of testimonies of staffs or children of the Tulay ng Kabataan Foundation. Darwin was ordinary, normal, but he was very special in his virtues, especially love, and always he said, I love you, especially in hope, and he hoped to meet one day the God in face and face, and I think it's already done.
It's happening
and
now.
Also faith. The faith of Darwin was very awesome, incredible. He was very simple in his faith, but it was so beautiful, and he was so united with the suffering Christ. You know, he was really united with the passion of Christ. And the last week of Darwin was like the Passion of Christ, the Semana Santa, the Holy Week. Because he was so united with the Passion of Christ, he lived himself the Passion of Christ. The Holy Thursday, it was a spiritual battle. And Darwin says, I am fighting against the devil. Darwin said that. One day after, Friday, Darwin cannot speak anymore. He is on his bed in PCMC in Quezon City, and he take a pen, a paper, and he write on the paper, I try to say that in Tagalog, maraming salamat po, masayang masaya ako. Thank you so much, a huge thank you. I am very happy. Can you imagine? He knew already he was dying. He was going to die. He was only 17 years old, but he was able to write, I am very happy, because he was so happy to meet Jesus Christ on the cross. One day after, Saturday, ground silence, great silence, like the Virgin Mary, just near the cross. And Darwin died on Sunday, and at the sunrise. It means 5:30 a.m. at the moment when Jesus go out of the tomb. Okay, so it's a very incredible story, because Darwin was like Jesus in the Holy Week at the end of his life. So the life of Darwin is really beautiful and is an example for us today. Yeah.
Amen, Father. Maraming salamat. And last 5 minutes.
Sa mga nagtatanong tungkol sa website.
Actually, marami, no? Like, we
marami
have some listeners. Where can we read about the life and holiness of the servant of God, Darwin Ramos? If you don't have an FB account, ayan. If there's no FB account, Father, you go to the website.
Yes, website in French, English, and Tagalog.
Yes.
So, pwede nyo itry darwin-ramos.org.
Okay. At yung prayer po, the prayer for beatification, canonization is there.
Yes,
In the
you can
website.
download all the prayers, and you can also send some messages to the Postulator or to the Darwin Ramos Association.
Yes. Nanay D of Olongapo is also asking, no, that they're interested, they want to support, and they want to be part of the 40,000 plus that,
Yes.
that you want, the
I
likes by
want
followers.
40,000 followers before the end of the year.
Yes, we have how many months? 4 months. Okay.
4 months, 10,000 for each month.
Yes, I will, after this program, I will like na, di ba? I will follow. Okay. All right, Mommy Dali, we pray for you. Naku, Mommy Dali is one of our texters. She has an illness. Maybe she can also ask the intercession, ano?
Of Darwin.
Of course.
Of the servant of
And
God.
she can send his
Darwin.
address, and I can send her a prayer card, stampitas.
Yes, very
Yeah,
nice. Okay. And so many are praying for the eventual sainthood of Darwin.
Yes.
But of course, it will take many steps.
And
Yes.
sana lalo na yung mga kabataan, no? Our youth, no? May learn from Darwin Ramos.
Yes. And also we need, it's very important, because we have a lot of expenses. So if some Filipino wants to make a donation, it's possible on the website, and it's very important for us, because we have to pay a lot of expenses, especially the stampitas. A lot of people want stampitas. They think it's free, but we have to pay to
printing.
publish, to printing the
Yes.
stampitas. So please help us on the website, make a donation. Thank you.
Yes.
Pray for Darwin, and then as a way of thinking, no, you can help, no, and you can donate. It's a foundation, no, for Darwin Ramos.
And the most important is to pray for the beatification and the canonization of Darwin. The first important thing is to pray. The second one is to help us by a donation.
Okay.
And actually, Darwin Ramos, servant of God Darwin Ramos, could be the first saint who actually lived here.
Yes, yes.
And died here.
Yes.
Because our first two saints Lorenzo
and
Luis
Pedro Calungsod.
were both assigned. They went abroad, and that's where
and
they were martyred. They were
And
martyred.
Darwin is not a martyr,
He's not
so
a
Darwin
martyr.
could
He's
be the first non-martyr Filipino saint.
and simple.
But you know, in the Philippines,
Yeah.
there is already 18 servant of God.
Yes, we heard. There's a,
So maybe he will be the first, maybe no.
Maybe
But it's
not.
not a problem.
but it's a good thing.
yeah.
This is a nice problem.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
it's not a problem at all.
It's not a problem. It's a
Okay.
very beautiful story.
Yes.
But my purpose is I want the Filipino take the story of Darwin for them.
Take it-
It's a
yes.
Filipino cause. It's a Filipino example because Darwin is the Filipino master of joy.
Yes, and in the Philippine setting, with all of our many problems that many of us experience in varying degrees. ano
Of
po?
course, of
Especially the poor who experience everything in major degrees.
Of course.
So ulitin ko po, no? Sabi nga, your disease
It's a mission.
is also
a
your
mission.
mission.
Yeah.
So, bago tayo maubusan ng oras at
Yes,
hindi
pag-
natin madasal yung...
Dadassalin na
Oo,
natin.
dadassalin na natin
so,
ito.
kapanalig,
Father, no, we thank Father Thomas, no, for spending your time and letting us know who Darwin was.
Yes,
no?
I want to use the words of Darwin himself for my conclusion.
Okay.
I repeat the words of Darwin. Maraming salamat po. Masayang masaya ako. Mahal kita.
Amen.
Okay, and now, dadasalin po natin ang
Ang
ating-
panalangin para sa tagapaglingkod ng Diyos, Darwin
Okay,
Ramos.
Father, go ahead, please.
O Diyos ng lahat ng kagalakan, Ama, Anak at Banal na Espiritu, hindi mo kailanman iniiwan ang mga nasa panahon ng pagsubok. Nagpapasalamat kami sa pagbibigay mo sa amin kay Darwin Ramos, isang batang kalye na isang maliwanag na halimbawa ng buhay Kristiyano. Sa loob ng kanyang maikling buhay, siya ay iyong pinagpala ng simpleng, walang kabiguan na pananampalataya, ng masiglang pag-asa sa gitna ng kasikatan at ng walang katapusang pagmamalasakit para sa kanyang mga kapwa. Ipinapanalangin namin na pagkalooban mo ang iyong lingkod na si Darwin ng luwalhati dito sa lupa upang ang kabataan at ang may mga sakit ay makahanap sa kanya ng lubos na kaligayahan. Mula sa kanyang pamamagitan, dinggin mo ang aming panalangin. Ipinagdarasal ka namin sa pamamagitan ni Jesucristo, ating Panginoon. Amen.
Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak at ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. And with that, maraming salamat puli. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Father Tamadi. Ang hirap na pangalan nyo.
Di Gabory.
Gabory. Ayan. Hanggang sa muli, Father.
Maraming salamat.
Hope you will be able to visit us again, even if you will be assigned to Ottawa in Canada. You will come back to the Philippines?
I hope for the closing ceremony and to send the file of Darwin to Rome, my job will be finished.
That's it now when you finish with all the files. But who knows, no? You can come back again. To all our listeners and viewers, our Facebook Live audience, thank you very much, for joining us. Sorry po, we weren't able to read.
Next time, bawi
Pasensya
kami.
na po.
Opo.
Okay. And
Okay.
again, hanggang sa muli. God bless you, Father Tamadi Gabory.
God bless you.
And kami po muli ay inyong mga lingkod, Angelique Lazo.
Father Douglas Badong,
At
sumainyo ang katotohanan.
Inyong napakinggan ang programa Barangay Simbayanan. Abangan muli dito sa Veritas 846 Radyo Totoo mula alas 8 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Para sa inyong suwestyon at komento sa programang inyong napakinggan, mag-text lamang sa 0918-837-4827. Barangay Simbayanan.